Rovers now head into this international break on the back of successive defeats to put that fantastic start under John Eustace under a bit of the spotlight. We talked about that and much more in today's podcast, and we're coming at you next. That's right, folks, back once again with another video. Today is a podcast, and we're going to be talking about everything Rovers related heading in and out of this international break. What do I mean? Well, we'll tell you in a second. If you're new, where you been? Smash your subscribe button. You want stop shop for Blackburn Rovers, Championship football, world football. We're going to all hear under one Rooski. That's right, Rovers coming into this on the back of a loss to Coventry, and then follow that with another loss against Wayne Rooney FC. And we'll talk all about that. And of course, we'll take a little look at what's in store coming up for Blackburn Rovers, that's right. But before that, big shout out to the VIPs, of course, the Patreons, you know who you are. And again, big shout out to the members who are all part of this one and only Blackburn Rovers family. And of course, there is a way for you still to become part of the family. And what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about this. That's right, folks. There's only a few days left for you to go out there and vote. That's right, Blackburn Roverseas. This channel has been nominated for not one, but two categories of the Football Content Creator Awards. We're talking Best Club Content Creator for the Football League, Best Podcast for the Football League. And I'm up against some stiff, real tough opposition. And of course, up against some dingles as well. So I need you to get out there and vote. It just takes 20 seconds every time. And I know I'll go on and on about this, but this is realistically one of the last videos I'll be able to put this out there. So please, please, please go ahead and vote. It's not just me that's part of the channel. We have a whole growing community of contributors, whether they're vloggers, podcasters, or pundits, whatever it is. They're, of course, all participating in this Blackburn Roverseas community across the world. That's right. We are bringing Rovers fans together. We're trying to have a voice. And of course, you could still be part of that. If you just want to be part of on this on the camera, please let me know in the email. Hit me up on my email. Hit me on my DMs. But right now, all I'm after is your votes to get us in the spotlight, make Blackburn Rovers relevant, or keep us relevant up against some real stiff opposition. I'm honoured to just be nominated, but realistically, I do want your votes. Just settled on our second successive defeat. And joining me during the watch along, it was Jacob. That's right. We were there. We watched it together. Brothers in arms, through thick and thin. And it was more thick than thin, or more grim than good at the end of the day. You know, you've slept on it. I've slept on it. You know, how did you rate that performance against Wayne Rooney FC? I'm getting it in early. Wayne Rooney FC got it in early, but yeah, I'm still bemused as to what I've been seeing of late.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't pretty, was it? And to be honest, Plymouth could have quite easily been 3-4-0 up before we get our goal to make it 1-1. Absolutely no complaints at the scoreline. It would have been daylight robbery to get out of there with a 1-1 draw. But to be honest, maybe this is kind of the frailties we're seeing with the team. It's a brilliant start, but I don't think anyone would have anticipated us to be as high as we were. I think we're currently 8th now, and I think probably still punching a bit to where most people would have thought. I think, you know, at best, most people were thinking a mid-table finish, and I think many would still really take that off the back of last season. But, you know, a team that makes the playoffs sees that result out and goes and steals a draw after playing really poorly. So, yeah, it's a sick, but it's nothing less than we deserve, to be honest with you, Dirk.
Yeah. Jonty, did you manage to catch the match?
I listened to the majority of it. I think it's probably broadly similar to Coventry. We didn't really show up. We didn't have any teeth. Bit of a lackluster kind of performance. But you know what? I've just got to reflect. You know, somebody had said to me after 8-9 games in, this is where you'll be in the table and things like that. You know, what's this obvious disappointment there because of the start we made? You know, Plymouth are no idiots. I said that on a previous podcast here. Plymouth are no idiots. You know, they fight for everything. And Wayne Rooney FC, you know, he's actually found a team that can actually play football with him, and they're actually rocking up for him. Do you know what I mean? So, obvious disappointment. Absolutely no two ways about that. But, you know, in perspective, if somebody had said to me at the start of the season, this is where you'll be, I would have snapped the hand off. Just maybe the order of the games and the results of the games might not have been where we are, but it's just so Rovers, isn't it? Just to be a midget's penis away from getting to the getting into the top spot or at least automatics, and then just balling it basically. So clear frustration.
Yeah, Denver, you're out and about right now. Did you catch the game yesterday? And have the goalposts moved for you in regards to your perspective of where we're going with John?
I don't think the goalposts have moved for me specifically, but yes, I did catch the game as much as I was walking around Palmero and trying to follow the game as much as I could as I was walking and watching traffic, and had it on my phone here trying to watch the game. But it was a frustrating one, especially the Sissoko on their left hand side causes loads of problems, and Hayden Carter just not being a right back could not deal with him all day. Hence why we brought on Costello just to try and deal with that. Everyone else seems to, I don't know, when I watched the game, I don't think we were, for the first, just before their goal, I think we were quite a threat. I think, the game was a bit bitty. It was either way. And then we had a few chances. I mean, I'm thinking of Vyman's chance. And when I remember watching it live, I was watching on a small screen. So I thought it was in for a second. And then by the time he cleared it, I realised. And then they scored their goal. And once they scored their goal, then I feel like they had about 4 or 5 chances where it was like, yeah, Plymouth, they've got on top here. And in the second half, again, they were the strongest side again before we made the substitutes. And then they made a real difference coming on. And we had a few chances. I think it was, Ohashi. There was a chance where he could have maybe gone with his left foot instead of cutting onto his right when the defender had won the ball. He had another shot where the keeper had saved it. Fair enough. Maybe he could have cut back. Cantwell could have scored, but it's what it is, part of the game. And then we go and score our goal, and you're thinking that might be it. And then after that goal had been scored, you could see the mindset was we're going to go and win this game. It was end to end, going both ends. And then I think they had about 2 crosses in. And you're thinking, right, you need to stop these crosses coming in. And when that third cross had gone in, and then they've ultimately scored from it in the 97th minute, I think it was in the end. And it's gut wrenching, but at the end of the day, I've seen it as quite a reasonably positive performance. And I know they've scored a goal. I know we were out of it for the majority of the game, and the subs have come on, and we've gone to try and win the game rather than settle for a draw. You can maybe say that away from home, that's quite a risk, but I'm not against it. If another day we stop that cross going in and we score a goal, we win the game. So if you look at that going forward, it might be a positive thing, but yeah.
Yeah, it's still kind of a gut-wrenching punch to take at the end. So close to getting a point, which at that point, me and Jake were watching it. It didn't seem like we deserved anything, to be honest with you. It would have been daylight robbery for a point, and it is a tricky place to go. But for me, it's just the two performances back to back might have started some warning signs. But as we edge into this international break, which, I don't know, I think it might be coming at a good time. Maybe we can reevaluate us a little bit. Do you feel it's a good time to take a pause, Jacob?
Definitely. I think, obviously getting Callum Britton back will be great. I think Hayden Carter looks like a centre half at right back yesterday, to be honest with you. There's been there's some of the games he's played there, he's actually been quite solid, but there's other moments where he's taken the ball down the line and the ball's gone out for a throw in with a really shit touch, or constantly cutting back onto his left foot to cross the ball in for whatever reason, even though he's right footed rather. Maybe trying to replicate what he did for Vyman in that first game against Derby. I don't know, but I think it'd be great to just get him back at centre half, get Britton back in at right back, who I thought had a positive start to the season. We're showing his quality with his crosses. I think it was him who assisted Ohashi away at Norwich with a cross. Just get him back in. I don't know if Owen Beck's available for the next game, but if he is, then I'd definitely get him back in. I think Pickering doesn't look at the races. By all accounts, he's not fully fit, or he's ill or something. So you can kind of excuse it a little bit. But I think that goal yesterday comes from just his lack of pace to get back, and then it's a free cross into the box, and the marking wasn't great by Hayden or Carter. But I think getting both the fullbacks back will definitely help a lot, and wasn't really ideal having those 2 tough away games with and not fully fit Pickering and a Hayden Carter at right back, really.
Well, that's perfect. A nice segue, I thought, to talk about what What is John Eustace's best 11? We've seen there's a good portion of the season done already. We've seen a lot of the personnel at least play once, bar the goalkeeper. But still, I think there is some if everyone's fit and available and selections, it's all up for grabs. I find it quite difficult to pick my start 11. So I wanted to ask you guys as a team here to pick what you think should be John Eustace's best 11. So we're gonna go from bottom to top. Jonty, is there a question mark on Ainsley Pears' shoulders right now? Is he the man you want to be number one, or do you want to give the Hungarian guy a chance when we come back to take on Swansea?
I think the knee-jerk reaction, especially after Coventry, when Pears certainly could have done better with the third goal. And, I was at Coventry and it was just really, to be fair, we weren't at the races of that game either. And I think that's a double kick in the nuts, isn't it? When you've got both games and you hear all the positive press about, we'll bounce back at Plymouth, and John Eustace says the right things. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to go at him. I'm a big fan. I think he's doing really, really, really well, and he's shown us what he can do. But no, I think Pears, he pulled off a few great saves yesterday. I think he's warranted to keep the spot. We can forgive him of that one moment for the Coventry third game where definitely he could have done better. But no, I think, to be honest with you, I'd like to see him play maybe in the under-21s before I can make a confirmed decision. But no, for me, I think Pears has upped his game. I said for a long time, Pears has got a mistake in him every game. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think when he does drop a bollock, it's normally quite a serious one. But no, at the minute, all good.
Somebody's got their speaker up really loud. I'm looking at you, Haben. Is it maybe?
It
says mic off. Someone else, maybe. Oh, Jacob, you got your speaker loud? Naughty boy.
I think it might be Jacob. Yeah.
Just turn a touch down. Can you still hear us?
Oh no.
Still hear us?
Yeah.
What's up, Denver?
We're good. I was going to say, Toth. I think Toth. He did play an under-23 game, didn't he? Against who would it have been? Carlisle, wasn't it? And they won like convincingly 5-0.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and he didn't really get much to do. So I remember I watched that game and it wasn't. Again, you couldn't justify like the it's hard to justify see what he was capable of that game. So yeah.
Okay, just stand by 1 minute. We're gonna do the left back, I think, and I don't know where Jacob's gone, but he should be there. Jacob, you're up. Left back. Is there a who gets your nod? Is it Pickering? Is it Beck? Is there an argument? Is there a discussion to be had, or is it nailed on?
I think for me, it's nailed on for Owen Beck. I think the fact that he came in, baptism of fire at Turf Moor, and in one game got himself a chant going because of how good he was, just kind of shows the levels, the difference between him and Harry Pickering for me. I think he's just really exciting. And as the pace, kind of offers that dynamism down the left-hand side. There were times away at Beakdale where, you just get the ball and he just drive past the player or two, something we just don't see from Harry Pickering at all. So I think for me, it has to be Owen Beck. I think he's the real gem, and I think we've got a good player on our hands here for the season.
And just to throw in there, have you noticed since after Preston, we've had 2 defeats, haven't we? So, you can't put it down on one player, but a bit of a coincidence there, isn't there?
Perhaps.
Yeah, we beat QPR, didn't we, at home? But they just really weren't at the races. But I do think
they sent off as well, didn't they?
Yeah, they were down to 10, so that don't count.
Yeah, true. But I just think Pickering's definitely not fully fit at the minute. But I do think you look at that winner for Plymouth. I think a lot of that goes down to Harry Pickering just not having the pace to get back. To be honest with you, he is just so slow.
Denver, you can either take a centre back to pick, or you could choose our right back. Who's it going to be?
Ooh, I'm going to. You know what? I'll save the Hayden Carter higher Mary. I'll go right back. I think we're desperately missing Callum Britton, in just the sense of Hayden Carter's done a fantastic job. I mean, we've won how many games with him at right back? But the cracks were showing against Preston, like Jacob mentioned when he ran it out of play, and I remember being in the stand thinking, "Oh dear, like we do miss a Callum Britton." And I know he had a few mistakes in him when he cost us a few goals, just trying to do too much from playing out from the back. But just that, just going forward, that's definitely what we're missing at the minute. And just defending in general as well, just that bit of pace defending backwards. Like Hayden Carter had a horrendous time against Sissoko, and like, we can't blame him at the end of the day. He's a centre back trying to turn left, turn right, and trying to stop Sissoko, who's a really tricky winger, and he's a really good championship player. Where you'd expect a Callum Britton to maybe have a better job. I mean, look, I'm not saying he would be able to stop him every time, but I think after that goal, Sissoko got in 3-4 times, and it was like, right, we're going to need someone to help Hayden Carter out here because he was having a torrent, like he was being teared on that right hand side. So, a Callum Britton, you'd hope maybe stop him a few times, maybe get that back up. But Callum Britton, it's obvious that we're missing a right back anyway, and there's a reason why Costello come on in the second half. And but we know Callum Britton is probably more the right back that we need, and going forward, he puts in a good ball for the likes of Hashi and Gay. So yeah, for sure.
What about Duru? Where's that guy? I thought he did really, really well at right back. I mean, Callum Britton, yeah, solid, but I like ranking Costello at right back. I like Duru at right back. So I know that will give you two really young wing backs, but all the same.
I think Duru is just. I think what we like about Duru is when he goes forward and it's like his direct approach on the ball, and I think imagine that going forward and Callum Britton coming in behind, putting those balls in. If they don't work out and he recycles the ball and you can put a ball in through Callum Britton, I think that's a devastating thing to think about. Where I know Rank Costello, I think when he played, what was it, for the under-23s against Carlisle, he played more of a central role. I think Eustace sees him more as that midfielder. I mean, hopefully, I don't know. It's hard to say where Eustace wants to play, but I think he wants to play more central. And I think if Dewsbury does eventually end up playing on that right winger role, which I think he will because he's so direct, when he doesn't break through and he passes to Britton and that deadly ball into the middle into a Gay or an Ohashi, I think could be quite a combination. But yeah, I can see your point. But I think Callum Britton just offers a bit more stability, security. I don't know, on the defensive side.
But I think also maybe in a year's time or something, Duru, or 18 months. I think he could be the guy. But Jacob, sorry, I cut you off.
No, yeah, I was just going to say. I mean, I think it's quite clear to see Eustace just definitely does not see Rankin Costello as his right back or even a backup right back. Favouring Hayden Carter there is kind of a slap in the face to him, I think. I mean, I know he cost us that game at Blackpool, and he's kind of avenged that yesterday because he should have got us that equaliser, and we should have seen that out. But I mean, he started the season at right wing, Costello, and then he tried him in midfield against Blackpool. And yeah, when Callum Britton's got injured, I think everyone was thinking, well, Rankin Costello's going to come in here. That's a good backup choice. But whatever reason, Eustace just does not see it. And I don't know. I think Rankin Costello were playing his best football at right back, especially under JDT, when my mind goes back to Huddersfield away when he scored that brilliant goal with the chip and whatnot, when he was just on fire back then. Yeah, it's just strange, really.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Haven, how the devil are you? It's been a while. Unmute yourself. Can't hear you. You can do it. There you are. I believe in you. You got this. Nope, lost him.
One job.
I know. All right. Well, he'll come and do the other centre back in a minute, maybe. Jonty, pick your centre back. Who's in there alongside Beckham and Britton to make our best 11?
I really hope they haven't dropped off now, because I think my thoughts. I think we've got a home team and a away team. I think we can play the four across the back away. I think at home, when we've got who've we got next? Swansea at home. I think we need to play three central defenders, solid, and again, it then draws into, can we play Travis and Tronstad together as well? I think the problem that we've seen the last two games is we're just far too defensive. We're on the back foot all the time. We're inviting pressure onto us. It annoys me. You look at other teams, even Premier League teams, other Championship teams. The best way of defending is just to go and attack the opposition, but we're not. We're setting up to be a little bit defensive. We've got six essentially defensive players, haven't we? So we're just inviting pressure. Yes, we can hit them on the break, but there's nothing in that centre of midfield, is there? So for me, it's three at the back. You McFadzean, you Hyam, and you Carter. You have, the toss-up between Travis or Tronstad. And then you have somebody like your Buckley, your Cantwell, even Joe Rankin-Costello, somebody with a little bit more creativity, because we've just got this huge void in the centre of midfield we're relying on counter-attacks and stuff like that. So anyway, what was your question? Hyam is a nailed-on defender for me. He's not had the best season when compared to others, but yeah, for me, he's still solid.
All right. Yeah, I hear
feel
you.
like a right miserable bugger.
No, I hear you, and it does speak volumes, and it's something that I'd like to see as well if we had a more attacking and adventurous lineup. And it is, when you look at it, it is 6 defensive-minded players. And maybe that's not, going to get the best out of a Cantwell or something in the future. So, but maybe it's still.
I think the problem is the fullbacks. Really, I think when we had, as you were saying, that kind of Travis and Tronstad, 2 defensive-minded players, but you balance that out with quite attacking fullbacks in Britton and Bet, it kind of makes up for a bit when they're bombing down the wings and stuff. But when you've got a centre half and right back with Carter and then Pickering who's like running in quicksand, it, like you're saying, John, it's just been really hard to watch, and we have created nothing against Coventry and Plymouth. We created in the 2 games probably 3 chances.
Maybe that's a nail on the head, isn't it? Is if your wing backs are not having the game that they need or that they want to have, that's where the flaw of all of this is because you can't have your Travis and Tronstad, because we've just got 6 defenders basically, haven't we? Just defending for life, and as long as I'm breathing, that's just going to invite pressure, isn't it? So maybe that's the key to it. So my point is if your 2 wing backs are not performing or going to the game plan as what they've set out to do, then that's a flaw in this system. I like how Eustace changes it up. He's not scared of making double substitutions, triple, quadruple substitutions. I like that, but maybe just needs to be a little bit braver. I don't know.
Jacob, you've got to pick Dom Hyam's partner in crime there. Who gets in? Is it Bath? Is it Carter? Is it McFadzean? Does he get in?
I think it's got to be Hayden Carter for me. I know Danny Bath's come in, and we've seen a few clean sheets, to be fair to him, but Hayden Carter is our future really, and he's going to be an asset for us. He is someone who we could potentially sell in a year, 2 years time if he has a really good season for a good chunk of money. So I think he's got to be starting, especially at this point in his career now. All
right, easy peasy.
Just a quick one. Is it Danny Bath or Danny Bart? Because the amount of times I've heard commentary say Bart, it's frustrating to me. It is Bart.
Just the Southerners being Southerners.
Yeah. According to Sky, it's Bart.
Yeah.
Alex, are you ready?
Is he ready?
Mr. Haben, are you ready? Can you hear me?
Hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, just.
Oh, there he is.
Yes, them tones.
I uninstalled Google Chrome and updated it.
That's it. Well, update our midfield. We need you to pick a midfielder to be in the best Rovers 11 currently. Pick one.
What about that? didn't mean to. The midfield.
Yeah, we need one in, and it's technically a defensive midfielder. So Travis, Tronstad, or do you throw a wild card in there?
Oh,
Hopefully not.
what would a wild card be?
I don't know.
Yuki Ohashi.
It could be Yuki Ohashi. Yeah, that would definitely be a wild card. No, come on,
David Dunn.
Yeah, even better.
Tim Sherwood.
I don't know. I reckon JRC could do a job there.
You reckon? Is that our best 11?
Oh, the best 11.
We're going for our best.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not the most random.
Okay. I'm just. Yes, there's a lot of games, so you got to consider. You can't use the same players for every game.
No, that is true, but that would ruin this part of the show. But
okay.
We're trying.
I don't want to do
figure
that.
out our best.
Best. Well, if it's best, it's got to be Tronstad.
There we go. That's what I'm talking. Why do you like Tronstad? Why did you go for him first instead of Travis? Tell me why.
Because I think Tronstad's a little bit more cultured than Travis, with all due respect to Travis.
Okay.
I think Tronstad. I think Tronstad's he's good on the ball, and he's good at getting forward and linking everything, and it's hard to describe really. But I think he's a better, possibly a better all-round sort of defensive midfielder who keeps things ticking over well.
Well, that's great. And so what I'm getting is that if you were picking a team sheet, you would put his name down before Travis. That's your opinion, right?
Well, he's not the captain.
Well, yeah, I know. It's all good.
Okay.
I'm expecting him to get company. No, it's all good. All good. I'm expecting him to have Mr. T, Travis, next to him in a minute anyway. Who's taking the other defensive midfielder? Denver, you want him?
Well,
who is it?
It's an easy choice. It's Hashi, clearly.
He'll be like a terrier. He'll be nipping at their heels.
He would.
I mean, I think there's only one answer to this. Travis has been phenomenal in that midfield so far. I mean, there has been times where it's been really, really frustrating in the sense of, I know he scored 2 goals in his last 2 games, but that Preston game when he could have had he's really reluctant to shoot, and I think that's not just down to Travis. I think that's just a midfield in general, trying to create the perfect chance almost too often, especially when the dying embers of the game when you want him to, like in QPR, he took the shot, it was deflected and it went in, right? So yeah, I mean, I as you said before, would you pick Tronstad ahead of a Lewis Travis at the minute? As much as he's the captain, I would say yes. I think Tronstad has been phenomenal in that just picking up the ball, making sure he plays the ball correctly and just retrieving the ball as well. He just seems to release at the right times. With Travis, sometimes you get caught and then he can take on a bit too long, or maybe he doesn't take that shot when he should do. And I know he's a midfielder at the end of the day, but at the same time, he's been phenomenal. He's been a great captain, and some of the stuff he's done has been great. And this season, especially carrying the ball forward, which of course we've hinted at and mentioned a few times in this podcast, where he was very much a Corey Evans passing side to side. He's pulled that into his game. He can drive with the ball, and I still think Ohashi should be in midfield because Alex said so. But hey, Lewis Travis is there.
Exactly. Wow. Hey,
Jonty. I was just going to say, Jonty, would you favour Travis over Sondre? Because I know you're a big Travis fan. Because personally, I favour Sondre.
Yeah. To be fair, I would go Trav first. But I mean, not that long ago, I saw when JDT dickhead dropped Buckley and Travis. Sorry, did I say that out loud? When he dropped them both, he played them in the under-23s. And those two, I know it's under-23s and what have you, but those two, the connection between those 2 players was unbelievable. And I sounds like a rap. It's coming in. I would like to see both of those 2 back in the centre. I'm a big Tronstad fan. He's not put a foot wrong, but it's a definition of madness. If we keep doing the same thing and not getting the results that we need, especially the last 2 games, I don't think Tronstad's had the greatest 2 games, Coventry and Plymouth. So we need to mix it up a little bit. So Travis will be my first name on the team sheet, and then Tronstad. But I'd like to mix it up and put Travis and Buckley and start with that, not just come on with it later.
Instead of playing maybe the two defenders as in Lewis, Travis, and Tronstad, could you put, if we played a 4-3-3 and we play maybe Travis, Buckley slightly advanced and Tronstad as maybe the 6, could that maybe tempt you with those three? Could that maybe you could fit Buckley in that way?
Yes, I think we just yeah. Listen, I think the point that we're missing is we're missing a bit of creativity right in the centre. There's a big void there. There's no link-up play, and when we get into the final third, it's just atrocious. I think, going back to just the previous point, Rovers. Every time I look at our head-to-head on the BBC Sport website against whoever we're playing, and this has been happening for about the last 4 or 5 games, we have had the less shots. Now, not necessarily the less shot on target, it's just the less shots. So going back to what Jacob said was, that Travis shot and it went in off somebody's backside against whoever it was a couple of weeks ago. And for me, it's almost like we're trying to score the utopian goal. We're trying to walk it into the back of the net. Just hit the bastard thing. Do you know what I mean? It's a championship. Just hit it. Just get more shots in. Do you know what I mean? That will be my message. Just shoot more. And I think we're trying to play pretty football. This is a championship, Jack. We need to just hit the bastard thing.
Is there any space or argument for Lewis Baker? Does he get anywhere in this? He's not a defensive midfielder. He's not the guns going forward kind of guy. He is a kind of Buckley-ish sort of thing, but less creative. But he can shoot from distance. He's he's going under the radar, and he's not getting any good look-ins at the moment. So I'm Lewis Baker camp.
Who's that to, Dirk?
To anybody. Is there a spot in here in this 11 for him, or can you not see him? If you
really wanted to mix it up, sorry, I think there's a bit of a delay on my headphones or whatever over here in Crete. But if you really wanted to mix it up, drop Travis, drop Tronstad, and put Baker and Buckley in against Swansea at home, and just see what happens. Do you know what I mean? It's risky. It's a big call, but definition of madness: keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. It makes it sound like we're bloody just above the relegation, so we're not. But it's almost like the opposition have done a bit of homework on us these last few games, and therefore we've had results like Coventry. We've had the Plymouth result as well. We need to kind of wake up and smell the coffee a little bit, and it's all much of a muchness. There's a couple of personnel changes for the same position. I've watched Rovers long enough now to like it being mixed up a little bit and not being so obvious in our play. Some mates that I've spoken to about the game yesterday said that we're very, very obvious in our play, and we're almost letting the opposition get back and time to adjust and defend. Or I don't quite subscribe to that. Is it a case of they're working us out and therefore they're making their amendments accordingly? I don't know, but we need to mix it up, not be so predictable.
I think that's why I suggested maybe doing the 3 in midfield, and then you have the 3 attackers, just so you have that Buckley connecting the attack, and you have maybe a Tronstad sitting deep and Travis making those forward runs. But I agree, especially when you said the shooting as well. That's the most frustrating thing. I understand that he wants to try and create these chances. He wants to build up play, create the chance, and that's what we've ultimately done. We've had maybe less shots. We've created the better ultimately XG goals and scored them. But what frustrates me is those last maybe 10 minutes where we're still trying to create the perfect goal. It's like, just hit it. Just hit
the bastard thing, yeah.
But you could ultimately change Buckley for Lewis Baker, and that maybe that 3, just to change it up a little bit. I'm sure Eustace isn't going to do that because it has worked up until now. But it's an idea. It is a thought.
It is.
If you're in the Lewis Baker camp, Dirk, would you be dropping Sondre or Travis in this 11 for him?
I don't know. It's a difficult. I'm now looking at Jonty's argument about having so many defenders. If we do have 3 at the back, then maybe we can we can, get a little bit more adventurous moving forward. Maybe have one. Yeah, it is. Maybe have one of the two, but it is difficult. It's a headache. It's a good headache, but we got to get that. You got to make that selection, and hopefully it's the right one. And again, it's going to be different strokes, different folks. Maybe what we're looking at here, with some additional help moving forward, maybe less gung ho, should be our away lineup, and then maybe because we seem to have be on a good formula for the home form. Should we possibly looking at two different formations and two different styles, and we will stick with the TNT action on the road, and then maybe get a Baker Travis or something else, Buckley Travis, when we're at home, when we've got the 12th man of the roaring Ewood faithful. So yeah, it's a selection headache. He was brought in for a reason, Lewis Baker. At the minute, it doesn't seem like he's on the top of the menu for John Eustace, but yeah, realistically, when we're picking the 11 players so far, I think this is what the majority of the fan base is thinking. So, I just like Lewis Baker because I know he can take a dead ball. He can shoot from range. We have been starved of a dead ball specialist for yonks, and I know he's not that prolific, but I don't know who scored our last free kick ever. But I honestly can't remember.
Cadra,
I think Diaz scored one close range, but it was on the line of the box, and I think that might have even been a friendly against Celtic. I don't even know, but it's been a long time.
Yeah. He got one against it might have been QPR's third keeper or something. Away from home, I remember, saved us a point or something.
Because now, whenever we get a dead ball, I know when we had Mulgrew, we were blessed because we had the king. But now, whenever we get one, I'm thinking there's nothing coming of this. There is nothing. It's a waste. As are most of our corners are a bit of a waste because we don't.
To this day, I still, when we're in the crowd, I will still think I wish I Mulgrew on this free kick. Just that, you knew it was at least 80% chance of him scoring in, and he most likely did.
Even from crazy angles, whatever. Corners straight from the corner flag. He is we were very lucky. It was 2 good years of him doing that. And now it's like we don't even have anybody, Cantwell's maybe Cantwell's the guy, I don't know, but I've not seen anything. So anyway, we're going off topic here a little bit. So let's move forward into the attacking regions. Maybe I think Denver, you might be next. So I'd say pick one of these three.
You want Alex to? Is it? I don't even know.
Oh, he picked Tronstad. So somebody picked Travis, whoever that was.
That was
you. So then we'll go back down to beginning, and it was technically Jonty. So Jonty, pick one of these attacking trio. Anyone you like. Who gets it? And I want to curious to see who you pick, who people pick. This is the hard bit.
Because I wanted Cantwell, but watching him start at Coventry, he absolutely. No doubt in my mind at the minute he makes more of an impact coming off the subs bench. Tyrese Dolan is a little bit hit and miss, isn't he? I like the guy, but he's I'm going to go with Cantwell. But I'd like to see him slightly more central as opposed to being out on the wing. So Cantwell enter him central.
There he is with his Alice band.
Lucky bugger. Hey?
I'm just jealous. Jacob. Huh? Yeah.
Well, I had bands somewhere laying around.
Yeah, you're right. Show off. Jacob, you can pick a winger. Anyone you like?
I think this one's the easy one for me. I think it's the third and final one. What's going to be the bit of the head scratcher? For me, I think Mario Dubry needs to get a start. I think he warrants a start. Good luck spelling that, by the way.
Right hand side, right? I think.
Yeah, right hand side. I don't know. I think it might be DEW. I think. But yeah, I think he's definitely warranted a start. Every single time he's come off the bench, he just looks direct. He looks fast and just exciting. Just gets me off my seat every time. And he might be the type of player, as Jonty just said, with Todd. He did have a tough game at Coventry, but he was on the wing. Todd Cantwell. I think for me, he's got to be on number 10. I think he's got to be in behind the striker. But it might be another case with this for Dewberry. Might be just one of those players off the bench. And I could maybe see that, but I think he deserves a start. I think Dolan has been quite poor the past couple of games. That second goal at Coventry is just unforgivable in my eyes for someone who's had as many games for this team as he has. It's just amateur at best what he did. And there has been moments this season where he's been really good. My mind goes back to the setting up Ohashi against Bristol for his first one. Did really well to stay on his feet, but I think get Dolan out of the team and give this guy a shot because he's not put a foot wrong for me.
All right. Mr. Haben, you're back again. You get to pick the other one.
Okay.
Now, there's a few options out there. There is a few options.
There are. I think I'm going to go for Sigurdsson.
Oh, my.
Oh.
Whoa!
Interesting.
Well, we're going with the selection box. I can't spell it. It's like Sigurd.
It's Dickehead.
So he gets in over I don't know.
Vitamin or Happy, the name goes on.
Well, you know what? I did argue for him a little bit in the game yesterday. I was trying, because he's been left out in the cold, no pun intended. But he came on, and we were hoping, weren't we, Jake, hoping that him and Cantwell would link together. You said that's where the goal was going to come from.
Two pretty boys.
And he's been on the outside looking in. I've always wanted him to succeed, but he's running out of time.
I think he's got quality. He's got talent. He is frustrating, but I just think he's got something in him that he can produce. He could produce, and he should be producing, and he can. We just need him to do it.
Yeah. We again, he's like a couple of these players that have shown like 1 in every 10, or maybe even more than that. 1 in every 15 games, they put in a decent thing. And then at the moment, I just think on his day he could be, he could hit levels that certain other players couldn't hit. But it's when is he going to have that day? Yeah, when is he going
to? He's proven this season he can come on and be a match winner, hasn't he? Oxford. Gets us that goal we needed. So I think on his day, I think he's probably the best winger we have if you compare him to Hedges and Dolan and stuff like that. It's just, like you said, Dirk, time's running out. He's got like 9 months left on his contract. Are we going to move him on in January, cash in? He needs to step up if he, wants to stick around, doesn't he?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Does he want to stick around? He was definitely a JDT kind of buy or purchase. And did he? When did he sign? Did he sign on as an extension when JDT was still here, or was it after the fact? I think it was before, or while JDT was still around. I think.
Yeah, it was whilst he was still here, because he would saying during his interview when he signed like that 18-month deal. Best managers were playing his best football under him, really high praises. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him leave now that obviously JDT is no longer with us.
Yeah. Hey, he is probably the most perfect fit for the left-hand side. Whereas the likes of your Dolan, your Hedges, and all that, well, they're a bit more flexible when they can play, a little bit all over the place. But it's a pick. It's your pick, and we'll stand by. Who gets to pick the guy up? Now we can go a little rogue here. We could go, Wyman leading the charge. We could go Ohashi. We could go Dolan maybe as a false 9 or whatever the heck they call it. All that horse shit. So who's next? Was it Denver gets the honors or what?
Yeah, it is me.
So no pressure. Who is our best?
Leonard. Harry Leonard.
Got to be Harry Leonard.
It's got to be Harry Leonard. No, for me, as much as Hashi's scoring the goals, it doesn't hold up that much threat. I mean, he does, but at the same time, just Miktar Gay up top is just the player I think who has to go at the top of there. Just his presence alone in games, you can see how much he just affects the game and just causes problems for defenders, and how good he was this week as well, just causing issues and problems all the time. And maybe some of his headers and knockdowns didn't quite work, but can you imagine when Todd Campbell and Miktar Gay are in that team together? It just reminds me of a Bradley Dack and Danny Graham duo back in the League One season, where but we would hoof balls up to Danny Graham, we would knock him down, and Dack would score. I can see that happening easily with those three, especially in midfield, even Sigurdsson. But Gay, for Gay, I'd love to see him almost be a little bit unselfish, because I feel like every time he gets the ball in and around that box, he's always looking for that assist. He made a great assist for Hedges against Norwich, but a few times today, I just want him to just turn and smack that ball into the back of the net, as we said. But I can see him just trying to find that final ball every time. I just want him to get a goal in the league at this point. But he's honestly, he's such an asset. Just his height, his physicality, and his attitude's not the right word. I think is just his charisma around the camp, and when he's on the pitch, you can just see his strength. You can see his centre backs are it's just a pain for them. And when he knocks them down and just causes a hassle, it creates our midfield to just have a bit more time on the ball. So, as much as I love Hashi, I think maybe playing Hashi deeper might be the way forward. But Gay has to go in for me.
The only thing I could say about him is that he is a little can be. What's the word? A little amateurish sometimes, getting rambling offside often. There's with the referees. I know he got pinched with the Burnley one. There was also a bit of back talk there was yesterday where he was giving off a little bit, and I thought, you got to calm that down a little bit, otherwise we'll be, we're lightning or strike twice. So,
but for me, I think you can coach. If you play him enough times, he gets used to it. That will eventually come out. You'd think so. You think he'd be mature enough to realize, maybe I need to calm down, and it's all coachable stuff, right? You can get him out. You can get him out of those situations where. The things that he does well, you can't Hashi's not going to be able to do that. He's not as physical as a Miktar Gay, bringing the ball down and just being a nuisance at the back. But I get your point there.
As much as I agree with you, Denver, because I think Yuki's looked really lost up front in some of these games recently. My mind goes to Preston, he looked lost. Coventry looked lost. We're just pumping the ball along and it's coming straight back at us. I've seen a few fans anyway starting to turn on Maktar a bit. Whether that's because he hasn't got a goal, I don't know. But I even saw a poll yesterday on Twitter of how would you rate Maktar's time at the club so far? Good, average, bad, or fraud watch? And then someone commenting saying he's the next Sam Gallagher. I think it's really harsh. I mean, the way Maktar brought.
Hello, am I still here? Oh,
yeah, you're still here, Jake. Yeah, the way Maktar's ties the midfield and brought players in, you said, Denver, the Hedges goal, even the Vyman goal, obviously away at Burnley, that comes from his knockdown. It's been instrumental, and having just someone to pump the ball onto away is really useful. I think maybe Yuki might be more of a home ground player when we're not having to go long all the time.
Returning back to this, of course, we all had a little bit of brief chat about this, but one gentleman was there. Wasn't that right, Sam?
I was there, sadly, yeah. Pretty heartbreaking in the end, but it's all part of the fun, isn't it? So
yeah. So you based down that neck of the woods, or
no? I'm based in Northern Ireland, so I'm originally from Blackburn. Moved to Cardiff for ages. Met my wife in Cardiff, and moved to Enniskillen. So I've literally just got back through the front door now. Got back home from the trip, so it's been a long weekend.
So from your point of view, of course, what did you see out there that has left you either with some food for thought, or has it moved your goalposts personally? Do you think we are punching above our weight, or do you think we're where we should be, or what? What's your take on everything?
I think it's hard to tell, isn't it? 'Cause I don't think the season's really like the league table hasn't really taken shape yet. It takes a while, I think, to kind of find your place. I think a bit concerned about our form on the road. I'm sure it's probably been covered at some point before, but at home we look a different side. I think away we quite often it's been a story for a few years now where a bit of pressure on us, a few quick players, the home crowd gets up and we kind of wilt quite a lot. We played well probably for the first 5 or 10 minutes were all right, and a 10-minute, 15-minute spell after we made the subs. But apart from that, we just Plymouth had so many chances, and it was all a bit too predictable, sadly. But I think it will be a mid-table side this year. I think I've sort of seen enough to suggest that we're probably not going to be down scrapping for relegation. But then I can't really see us getting in the top 6. But I suppose you never know if Cantwell really gets going, for example. There's always one team who's a bit of a surprise package, and yeah, could be us. But I don't know. Maybe this week it's been a bit of a reality setting in a little bit.
Yeah. Now, just from my corner of my eye, are you rocking a old school Rovers shirt there, orange one?
Yeah, I'm indeed. Yeah, so I'm just on my phone at the minute. So it's a bit hard to show, but it's
Oh yeah.
It's a garish orange one from the 90s, which I think
they're rare. Rocking all shit, them bad boys.
Yeah.
I've got the same one, to be fair.
I think I have one somewhere where it's just like
it's a competition
a long time ago. No, but it was just like I think I had it when I was like it was a kid's size or something. So
I'm the
long time ago. Oh,
I'm the opposite. I've got the same shirt, but it's about 3 XXL.
With the sleeves, aren't they? The arms on these ones.
Yeah, I think that's when I was at my peak weight. So it's like a tent now. I put it up, I just, erect it. But no, good to see you, Sam. Sam, what were the Blackburn fans like yesterday? Because at Coventry, it was a bit of a mixed bag. We were loud to begin with, then we went very, very quiet very quickly. What were the fans like yesterday, mate?
I thought the fans were really good, to be fair. Obviously went a bit quieter at one point second half when we were on the back foot, but generally speaking, the team got a lot of support, and there was definitely, not too many grumbles or anything, but it was a good, lively way. And I think a lot of people have been enjoying the pints in Plymouth beforehand, which sometimes helps. People are a bit boisterous, but no, in good voice, especially as we built up a bit of head of steam towards the end. But yeah, not too.
Is that your first time to? Sorry, is that your first time to Plymouth?
Second time. So I went in the League One season when we got beat 2-0.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah. So it's a long old way to get beat, especially the manner we got beat. But it's a nice place. So I would recommend it. For an away trip. The Barbican is full of pubs.
Yeah, in 30 odd years of watching Blackburn Rovers, I would honestly say it's the most friendliest away ground I've ever been to. I was there last season when we got beat 3-0. And because my National Express back to Newquay wasn't till about 8:30 at night, it's the only time I've ever been offered by a steward if I wanted to go for a pint with him and his other steward mates after the game. And I was just like, that is class, isn't it? That is absolute class. And apparently they go for a bar snack and a few pints after the game. And he just said, listen, if you stuck us something to do, come with us. I was just like, that is brilliant. Nice. So, yeah.
That's a nice.
Sorry, Dirk.
No. It's all good. It's all good. Hey, it's all right. We're all here to talk about the same thing, and that is, of course, voting. So make sure everyone goes out and vote. We've been the best podcast football league, best club content creator football league. So go ahead and vote. But one of the topics I want to talk about before we get this show to bed is the state of this guy. Where is the future of Tyrese Dolan? Contract expires. There doesn't seem to be any movement in that regard. So a couple of frustrating displays by him. Question I'll run through the blocks and we'll start Denver down.
Can I go first?
Sure, whoever said that.
It's John.
Will he be a Rover next season? Will he be a Rover, and do you want him to be a Rover?
Only reason being, I'm dying for a pee, mate. So, I've had far too much water out here in Crete. I'll be deadly honest with you.
Water?
Yeah.
Water. Did I say Wharton? Have I poured too much water? Yeah. Tyrese Dolan, probably the biggest frustration for a long time. The guy's capable. He's got a lot of ability. He's got a lot of skill. When he turns it on, doesn't he? On the flip side of that, he's massively frustrating. He's one of those guys that if you were to ask me now, do I want him to be a Blackburn Rovers player? Unfortunately, he's not quite cutting it for me. However, would I want him to go anywhere else and play against us? Absolutely, categorically not. So I'm going to sit on the fence. I've got splinters in my arse from doing so. Depends on his wages, would be my final answer. If they're within reason, keep him. If they're not, get him gone. I'm off for a P.
What's within reason, Jonty?
He's gone. He's gone for a P.
No, I'm still here.
Would you take him as top earner at the club, the highest earner? He's off.
No.
Would I? No.
Yeah.
No, sorry. Categorically not. If he's in the top 7 or 8, no, absolutely not. But if he's middle of the road kind of earner, then yeah, keep him.
Okay. Denver, we'll start
I've got to
with
go
you as well.
because there's going to be a puddle.
Yeah, go for it. Denver, your thoughts. Of course, you're always Mr. Impartial on the fence, but surely you got an opinion on this guy.
So my opinion is, of course, as much as what John T said is ideal. In an ideal world, you'd love to keep him because for the minimum wage, whatever. You've got to consider Dolan's perspective on this deal as well, because he's looking for the best deal possible. Hence why he's not signed the contract. He's also thinking, what is on the horizon? What could I potentially get? Like a Ryan Ayambe, it could work, it could not, and you could end up at Wigan and fill that in existence. But so you're looking at it from a Dolan perspective as well, and you think, right, if Dolan gets it right, let's be honest, there's only a few tweaks. There's a few things that frustrates us. Sometimes he does too much, sometimes he does too little. It's just a few little things. If he gets them right, we could sell him on for a good amount of money. Now, the question is if we can get that out of him. If this is something we can resolve at the club and then sell him on for a significant amount, maybe to a Premier League club or at least a top-end championship club. And that is the question. I think it will be a gamble, because you'd have hoped that by now he might have found that you might have clicked, like a Sammy Schmonix or even Diaz didn't quite click, but scoring all those goals was that signal for it. That's the risk. That's the risk. Do we sign him? It will have to be what Dolan's asking for, which I'm assuming is going to be high amount of wages because he sees himself as one of the best players at the club. He wears the number 10 shirt, and hope that he will become good, and then we could possibly sell him on or even get promoted, and he become one of our star players. Or I can't see many clubs coming in for him because he's so inconsistent at the minute. So I think you'd have to either let him go or sell him. If you're going to sell him, I can't. Again, depends what kind of clubs are going to go in for him. And if that's the kind of move he's looking for, it's a tough one. I would say, I think he's worth a gamble. I think you give him that, and then but maybe give him only a year. You say, right, this is what we're going to get. If he signs it, hopefully he will because of the money that he'll be on. But you give him that 1 year, and if it doesn't work, then you say, look, let him go on a free. You'd have to cut your losses at the end of the day. But you're hoping that, maybe like a Ben Bridges dad, you sign, you keep him on, and hopefully he fires you to the Premier League. But it's a tough one, isn't it? That's why nothing's happening.
So I don't think it's the matter of Rovers. I think Rovers have offered him contract. Yeah. I think he's the one that's been refusing to comply or agree to those offerings. Jacob, what do you think on him? How much time do we have left realistically? It looks like it could be 2 months, I think, before then you will stare in at the January transfer window, and then it might become a decision for Rovers to either cut their losses and sell for a little bit of money, or do they drag this to the wire with any hope?
I don't know, to be honest, Dirk. I mean, realistically, I don't know how much money we would get for him in January. maybe a couple million or so. I think, like Denver said, I think that there probably would be some interest from championship clubs. He is a player who is definitely a championship quality player. He's nowhere near Premier League as of yet, but I think all this just needs to be put in the context of he is still 22. What's mental to think, considering how long he's been playing for us now. But equally, like I said before, doing stuff like he did at Coventry away for the second goal, even at 22. But when you've played, probably 100 plus games for Rovers now easily, it's just not good enough. But then there's, obviously he's very bipolar with a lot of Rovers fans, I think, and me included, because at moments I love him and I think, bloody hell, Ty, that's brilliant. But then it'd just be so infuriating at times. I think he probably, if I think back and think Sam Gallagher was on top money for us, 15k a week, does Tyrese Dolan deserve that 15k more than Sam Gallagher? I would say yes, because if we get it right with Tyrese Dolan, he's English, he's still young, we're going to command a decent fee for this lad. If he has a season where he gets 20 contributions or so, we're talking at least 15 million or so for him. Young, fast winger, exciting. I think we're just going to have to suck it up, really. I think we're going to have to give him the money he wants, and we're just going to have to hope that he comes good in the next couple of years. At the very least, he's still going to be a solid player for us, and he'll start most of our games this season, you would think. But yeah, I think he needs to give his head a bit of a wobble after these past couple of performances for me.
Sam, I'll come to you in a second. I'm going to Haven quick. If you were a betting man, Alex, would you think he'll be wearing these blue and white halves next season? Or do you think he'll be wearing something else?
No, can't hear him.
I think he's probably listening to his agent too much. And if it carries on that way, he'll be gone.
So what was your answer there? Yes. Do you think he'll be wearing the Rovers colours?
Next season?
Next season. If you're a betting man, if you had to put your last penny on it.
At this point in time, I would say no. He'll be gone. Because he hasn't signed yet. So, I don't know. I think his agent has got control on him too much. He doesn't strike me as the type to be greedy himself. But I don't know. He's probably not listening to the right people. Put it that way.
Yeah, it is frustrating, when we take a look back at how he became a Blackburn Rovers player, and the loyalty we've shown, and then what I would like to see is something similar to that of Sam Smorich. Sam Smorich, even though we knew he was kicking ass last season, he did sign a new contract in like November with the probably the full knowledge that we were going to get bang for the buck come May. I think even when he was signing. He was helping Rovers out, because then strengthening our case, getting a little bit more money in our back pocket in the end. So, what about you, Sam? Where do you think Tyrese Dolan's head's at, and how much loyalty is left in the game of football?
Well, that's a tough one. It depends really why he's not signing. A lot of people have spoke about money, and it seems that's probably it. But you never know what's really being discussed behind the scenes. Whether it's he wants to get more guarantees of games, which he seems to get at the moment anyway. Eustace definitely seems to rate him. If I was a betting man, I actually think he will stay, but that's based on very little other than I think Eustace rates him. And I just have a feeling it'll sign. As for my opinion on Dolan generally, I think I'm similar to everyone else. I'm very hot and cold on him. One after QPR game, I was singing his praises, and then this week now I'm a bit furious with him because he's had two really poor performances. I think with Dolan you tend to get one great performance and then you get 3 or 4 really subpar ones, and I think that's why it's so frustrating, because that there is a player there. But yeah, as for loyalty, I don't know. He definitely seems to. When you see him on social media and you see him with supporters, he is very sort of like warm, approachable. He seems genuinely a really nice bloke. But like I think, like it's been said before, you don't know if he's being misadvised or he perhaps sees an opportunity elsewhere. I guess they all have short careers, don't they? So, it might be that there is an opportunity elsewhere where he thinks he can earn a bit more money, or you never know what discussions have gone on behind the scenes. But I have a feeling he'll stay, but that's based on nothing more than a hunch for me.
Yeah. But I think that's a really good point.
I hope you're right.
I think it's a really valid point. I mean, can you name me a Rovers player recently that where every single Rovers fan can see the potential in them, but just doesn't live up to that potential? I can't think of anybody as more frustrating as Tyrese Dolan in a long time. That has so much potential, and we can see it. We can smell it. We see it. Like Sam says, one game is absolutely immense. I think for me is we kind of know what Tyrese Dolan is going to turn up within the first 5 minutes. If he has a couple of bad touches or something like that, it's almost like his head goes, and that's it. It's you might as well substitute him after 5 minutes. But if he has a couple of nice touches and he goes on a bit of a mazy run like he's capable of doing, he then shows up for the game. Maybe it's just a psychological thing with him, because the potential absolutely is there. I think that's one thing that we've all agreed on. I think that's why we're struggling to form a definitive opinion.
Yeah, I'd say the same. I think the thought of him going elsewhere and kicking on and becoming the player that we know he can be that'd be a tough one to take. After perhaps being frustrated by him for a little while, and but then sometimes you go to games and he just has you tearing your hair out a little bit, because he'll do all these. He'll cut inside and he'll slow the game down loads. He'll do loads of random skill that doesn't quite come off, and I don't know. He's had a bad week. A really good game last against QPR, but a bad week. But I don't know. It's tough as well. I think he's gone from obviously two very different managers as well. Like JDT had a very distinct way he wanted to play. It was all like quick passing and stuff. And whereas now I think Eustace perhaps gives a little bit more license to show creativity. And I thought maybe he could really kick on under Eustace. And he did start the season quite well as well. But I don't know. I think he can sometimes be a bit of a scapegoat as well. But sometimes he's probably justified being a scapegoat this week with some of his that Coventry one. What was he thinking?
Yeah, I just take offence at you saying about tearing your hair out. Can we use a different analogy next time, please? For the sake of me and Dirk.
And me.
And Alex, sorry, I beg your pardon. And Alex, yeah.
Looking at you, John.
Alex are proud that way, when he Andy.
Oh, this is relegation. This is relegation hairstyle.
That's what it is. It was from last year. I wasn't bold until Eustace took over and we were struggling, but that wasn't his fault. Anyway, next 5 games. These are the next 5 games on the agenda. Let's ignore the Green Army. Swansea home, West Brom home, Watford away. Not too sure which Watford will show up. Sheffield United, Stoke. I know we may have discussed next 5 games last time, but let's go around the shop here. Denver, 5 games. What we look at? 1, 2, 4 of them at home. Ooh, 1 away. Watford, Tom Cleverley. How many points are we racking up here? Considering the last 2 that we've had were, last 2 games have been pretty piss poor.
Denver's the man to listen to here. He's got the last 2 right.
I know.
Denver.
I was about to mention that, in the chat. I remember saying I've got these last 2 results. The QPR said we're going to win and we're going to lose on the following 2, and we have done so. I'm going to say we're winning every single game because that's what's going to happen. I wish that was true, but no. Right, okay. So, Swansea, you think at home our form's pretty good? We're going to have a bit of a break. I think we have a possible win there. West Brom at home, they're doing. How are they doing at the minute? I think they've done.
They've hit a bump. They've hit a bump in the road.
They've hit a bump, but that's going to be another tough game. I think I said I was going to possibly a draw there. I think it could be a draw, a first home draw this season.
Let me just add, I'll be at those 2 home games for sure, so probably going to lose both of them.
Bringing the curse.
Don't bring the curse.
I know. We'll have to meet up as well finally this time, Dirk.
Indeed.
But then Watford. it's tough to say. And Watford, they've been hit and miss as well this season. I'm pretty sure. Like, they've had some good results, and then some. I can see that being a draw. Sheffield United's going to be a really tough game, and then Stoke City I'm going to find really interesting because Sam Gallagher's finally back and he scored that goal, hasn't he? That was a really good goal against Pompey. I'd say Sam Gallagher could be that Dolan-esque. We've let him go. He's frustrated us. He's had good games. He's had bad games. Once we scored 2-3 against us. No, but I'm actually looking forward to that Stoke game. But I'm looking at it. 3 points there, 4, 5, maybe 8 points out of those games, maybe 9.
8 from 15, is that right? 8.
Yeah, I think so.
Jacob, higher or lower?
Let me go through. We'll see, Dirk. I think we'll bounce back against Swansea. I mean, Swansea are no mugs this season, to be fair, but I think it's the type of game at home where we see it through. I think I agree with Denver. Draw against West Brom. I think they've shown they're a decent outfit this season, but as you said, Dirk, they're in a bit of a rough patch at the minute. Ryan Hedges likes an early kickoff at Vicarage Road, so who knows at Watford. Could be another 1-0 shithousery there, but yeah, I mean, from what we've seen on the road so far this season, I'm probably going to have to go with a loss. I think obviously, Watford started the season well and they've dropped off a little, but our away form at the minute just suggests to me it's going to be a loss. Sheffield United at home, I think, will be our first home loss of the season. I think they're looking the real deal this year. Still unbeaten, aren't they? And yeah, I think they probably will turn us over. They're no mugs when they come to Ewood. And then Stoke at home, it's late kickoff, but it's not in Stoke. So I think I'll go with a win. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Sam Gallagher scored. Niall Ennis scored against us, didn't he? I think
he did.
So yeah, it would just be poetic, I suppose. But yeah, that's 7 points, Dirk.
John T, what do you think? Are you going to challenge them to more than 8, more than Denver's 8?
Just looking at this lot, though, it just shows how tough the championship is. We've got to pinch ourselves. Remember that there's only, between us and top of the league now, there's only 5 points. Between us and I think the relegation zone is about 8 points, 7 or 8 points. And we say it's season in, season out, but this is a really, really tight stuff. If you're a West Brom fan, you'd be really pissed off at this moment in time, wouldn't you? So, anyway, back to your question. We're going to beat Swansea at home. We're going to beat West Brom at home. Then we're going to do typical Rovers. We're going to lose at Watford. So when we start sniffing around the automatic playoffs, we're then going to lose at Watford away. We're going to lose at home to Sheffield United away. And then I think we're going to draw against Stoke City. So for your mathematicians in the room, what's that? 3, 6, 0, 0, 7. 7 points. It might not work out like that, but with our allergic reaction to the automatic positions just seem to continue. So 7 points, we're going to continue to disappoint. But, so far so good. I'll take anybody for, somebody said to me start of season where we will be now after 8 games, is it, with 15 points? Yeah, I would have taken that.
It used to frustrate me how much we used to be allergic to the playoffs. I remember in one season, I think we were like 1 or 2 points outside the playoffs, and then we'd lose to QPR, and then we ended up finishing 15th, and that. So, automatics, it's a step up, but it's still not great, is it?
No, Sam's going to save us now. How many points we get, Sam?
I'm going pessimistic. I'm thinking 6 or 7, but I'm going to the Swansea game as well, which says to me that we won't win. I can see a draw at home to Swansea, like a frustrating draw. West Brom, I could probably see a draw as well. Watford defeat just because it's away at the minute. I just can't see anything else. Sheffield United, I think we'll get beat there. And I do think we'll beat Stoke. But that only gets to 5 for me, which is pretty pessimistic. But we have been good at home, to be fair. It's one of those, I wouldn't be surprised if we... Obviously, I don't think we're going to win all 4 of the home games, but we are pretty formidable at home. So I could see us picking up a couple of surprise the Sheffield United and West Brom games, probably be underdogs in both, but I wouldn't be surprised if we won at least one of them. But I'm going pessimistic and saying 5 just because I'm miserable after yesterday. So
sorry, guys. Can I just apologise to the group for inviting Sam onto this?
Where's the remove button? Remove it now.
Sam, there's a big leave button with a cross in it. If you just press that, see what happens, mate.
One thing I'll say, usually my predictions on football are usually pretty terrible. So I put a bet on us winning 3-0 yesterday. So that probably tells you all you need to know really about my football knowledge. So yeah,
Alex, what are you thinking now, Alex? You're gonna wrap it up.
I got to end up with some optimism here. So I'm going to say 9 points. They could come from absolutely anywhere. But I'm saying 9 points. Optimistically.
So yeah, we are sitting at 8th, and very within striking distance of the playoffs, but a little bit of a gap. Does anybody want to have a punt at where they think we'll finish at the end of the season right here on October the 6th?
First. Top of the league.
First.
Optimism.
That is optimism.
I said 6th a few weeks ago when you asked Dirk. I don't even know. I mean, these past 2 away games, they have been tough, and we lost them last season. So I don't know if my position should change. I think I'm going to still stick with 6th. I'm going to be optimistic and say we're going to be that one side that punches above our weight this season and sneaks in there.
We did. I might fight our corner here. We did get, a good point on the. I don't mean wins, and that's what we're missing right now is a win from. We did draw Burnley at their place. We did draw Preston at their place and Norwich. So 3, they're solid points when you figure. Look at Norwich now; they're like formidable. Did they lose? But they're pretty formidable this past few games. We played them at the right time. We played the Dingles at the right time. We played the Knobbers at the right time. We got a point out of all of those. So. Yes, the last 2 have been pretty shitty, but Coventry are a bogey. Plymouth is always going to be a shit. This Watford game, I think, should be a defining point. They're around about us, not been amazing, not been shit, but I think if we can get a point out of that, then we're still looking for that away win. But
I chuck Preston into these bad away games. Well, personally, I think
it was a bad performance, but we've got a point.
Yeah,
I know we didn't.
Yeah. It was against 10 men, though. I think we had to go on the win. We played really shit, like you said, and I think against 10 men, we should have won that game. And in fact, we had like one chance, and Dolan hits the post. It weren't good at all, was it?
Not good enough.
So any other takers? I think Jacob said 6. Denver said first. John T, come on, where's your money at?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with where we are now. I think just outside the playoffs, whether that's 7th, 8th, or 9th, I think that's where we'll finish. I think, again, in perspective, that'll be a great season for us. Let's not get too carried away with it. Let's just, it's going to take time. If we did go up now, then I think it'd be far too soon. We'll come straight back down. But this is a tough league. I unfortunately live in where I do, in Six Finger Land. Unfortunately, Facebook likes to chuck up stuff from our friends down the road at Turfcast. And they were absolutely fuming against a 0-0 draw against Preston. But, it's a tough league. It's this one. I don't think there's going to be a runaway leader. That's what I'm going to say. I don't think anybody's going to absolutely have it away. I think we'll probably go into the final 2 weeks and we still won't know who's going up automatically. That's my prediction, but I'm going to stick in terms of Rovers. I think anywhere 7th, 8th, 9th is a good season for us.
Sam, you want to chuck your name in the mixer here?
Well, yeah, I'm going to sound pessimistic now, but I was thinking somewhere. I'm going to be a bit more optimistic. I was going to say 12th at first, but I'm looking at the table now. I'm going to say 10th. I think.
All right. Exciting.
You'd have taken it at the start of the season.
I would have.
I think all the teams that are above us will probably stay above us, and I could see Middlesbrough doing quite well this season, finishing above us, and then maybe Luton might come good or something, or Coventry. I could see 10th. I could see us flirting with the playoffs a bit, but as we've mentioned earlier, every time we sort of get close, we'll no doubt have a dispiriting away performance somewhere and fall off. But I think we'll finish 10th, but it'll be optimism for perhaps the season after, that we can, there's something to build on.
Yeah, Coventry is still down there as well. What's going wrong with them? If they're going to make a change.
I was looking at the form then, and I thought that's so typical, and just the one win.
Yeah, we do like to be that one win for a team, don't we?
Yeah. Charity match.
What's up? Alex?
My real answer is actually going to be 11th, 12th. Just to say, I can't say first with a straight face.
Alex, what do you think? What are you thinking?
I'm going to stick with optimism and say we get stick. We finally make the playoffs. We have a real good go at it, and it'll probably be an ultimate heartbreak. But we have a go. We get in there. They get the experience, and they're ready for next season to actually crack it.
Yeah, that's what we want. Yeah. That's what we want. Okay, you just mentioned Turfcast in there. They are one of our rivals for best podcast and best content creator, I think. So we can't have them winning it. So make sure you go out there and vote, folks out there. And while we got Sam in here, we of course got a big question. We've been nominated for best podcast. We don't really have a name for it. So these are the ones. These are the ones that we've kind of been bandering around. And maybe you could throw your hat in. And the viewers at home, there will be a link in the description to a poll with these. So we're looking. Podcast 95 was mentioned. Ewood Talks was mentioned. Rovers Ramble was out there. I like this one, Duncan Maguire Diaries. I think that's pretty cool. No Nay Natter. And we did originally call it Rovers Return. So, Sam, what's your initial take from those 5? What do you like the best?
I like Rovers Ramble, to be fair. But
I think that was mine.
Yeah, I like Rovers Ramble. Duncan Maguire Diaries is a good one. It's still a bit of a sore subject, I think, for a lot of people.
I seen him. He scored the other day, didn't he? And I think I seen a highlight. I'm just like, what could have been? Maybe you never know.
Yeah. Duncan Maguire Diaries is one of those that hopefully, in a few years' time, hopefully it'll be ancient history and we won't quite be. So it's a bit niche, that one. I'd go Rovers Ramble, but I think they're all good.
Rovers Can't have another one sitting on the fence like Denver.
Yeah, I'm very much a fence sitter. I don't want to overcommit to it.
My man.
It's fair to say Rovers Ramble.
Not just me.
Well, that's good. I think that one that might have the most votes in our little chat here, but I'll put a link in the description for folks to vote watching at home, and then we'll hopefully next time we have this. In fact, we have a big fat quiz coming. Big fat quiz teaser.
Woo.
Coming soon. Probably next Friday or Saturday. We're trying to work out logistics. We might have a whole host of people, like more than we have here. I think Jacob's got us somebody new. All right, cheeky. We've got Millie. That's with Haven's partner, Millie, and Haven are going to be rocking it. Haven's like, what? What's going on?
What?
So yeah, that's your new partner.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. We're going to be doing a quiz. There's going to be partners, and we'll do a draw live. It's going to be sometime next week where I'll hope to chat with Jonty once he's touched down in the UK or whatever, and we can figure out what's what. But poll in the description. Closing comments. Let's go around the room. We'll start with Mr. Haben first. Give us your deepest, darkest thoughts on the state of Rovers heading into this international break. Where's your head at?
Okay. Great start to the season. Brilliant. I don't think we could have hoped for much more, but we've crashed back down to earth in the last couple of games, especially at Coventry. That was a heavy hit. That was hard to take. I'm sure it was especially hard for Jonty being there. And Jacob. Yeah, and Jacob. Plymouth, I think we were too conservative from what I saw. And we left it too late to go for it, and that bit everyone on all the Rovers players got bit on the backside, and Eustace as well ultimately. So that was a shame. But I think the international breaks have come at the perfect time to get over those defeats and refocus and hopefully reset and get back to all the good stuff they were doing before those defeats. Get injured players back a bit, hopefully, and just get the squad in a good shape, in a good position to kick on and get back to that good stuff that they were doing before the defeat. So I'm still optimistic that they can get back to good form.
good form, yes. Sam, here's a quick question for you. So, who do you think's in a better mindset, the Rovers fans or the Dingles fans? I know they are above us, but I see a lot of discontent, with the Burnley fans. I think they expect to be walking the league right now. So, what do you think personally? From the collective, speak for the collective of Rovers. Do you think mostly happy with 8th? Compared to the Dingles and being in and around about the automatics, but not necessarily running away with the league?
I'd say we're probably the happier fan base at the minute. I think there's a bit of delusions of grandeur over there a little bit. I think they expect to be, maybe because of last time, they expect to be pacing everyone. They still seem as arrogant as ever, though, when you see them all over social media. And they seem to take a lot more interest in our games than perhaps some of their own games at times. But yeah, I think obviously yesterday everyone was pretty depressed our side, as you can imagine. But yeah, I think we're probably happy. I think because we expected to be probably towards the bottom end of the season, whereas they expect to be winning the league and stuff. But I don't think the league's fully taken shape yet anyway. I'd say we're probably a happier fan base at the moment, although maybe not yesterday because everyone seemed thoroughly hacked off yesterday all over social media. But that's football fans for you, isn't it? So yeah, I'd say we're a little bit happier, but that can change on week by week.
We are Rovers. Jonty, say your final piece before we bow out.
We need to get rid of this schizophrenic nature that we've currently got. Our home form's very, very good. Our away form is not great. Coventry was a kick in the nuts. For me, it was all about how we bounced back at Plymouth, and that was the disappointing thing. It's just, we had another toothless first half, and this can't continue. So just go out with the mindset that you've got for your home games. And some of the home games haven't been absolutely out of this world, but we've done enough to win games. I don't know if anyone watched the Villa Man United game earlier today. If you're a Villa fan, you'd be slating them now because that was another gutless, toothless performance. But it's just football at the minute. It's just the way that it seems to be going. Sorry, I think I've got one of my neighbours that I've just woken up on the balcony. But yeah, just let's not get too negative over a couple of shitty results. Let's just get behind Rovers and just manage our expectations, and let's just keep going. Let's see what happens if we don't quit.
Jacob, how are we doing?
Not too bad, Dirk. I think you look at, like I said, we didn't win these away games last year. These last two, they've been tough away days. Preston, like I just said, we probably should have gone on and won that, but we always struggle at Dunkdale, unfortunately. It's not the easiest of grounds for us to go to. But I think it's come at the right time, the international break, couple of weeks now to kind of just work with the boys, see what's been going wrong last couple of games where we're just toothless going forwards, not enough chances created, and get some of these players back, like your Callum Brittons, your Owen Becks. And then hopefully we can just carry on that great home form. I think obviously the exciting thing about the next 5 is 4 of them at home. And despite me not thinking we'll beat West Brom and Sheffield United, there's every chance we could, seeing as we're at home. So I guess we'll just see where we're at the end of these next 5. I think that'll be a big teller how we kind of do at home against these sides where we may well be the underdogs. We will be the underdogs definitely against Sheffield United. So yeah, let's see how we do, and let's come back stronger after these 2 weeks off.
Yeah, and Denver, you are always Mr. Positive. Come on then, give us some Italiano spirit.
I think, I didn't actually watch the Coventry game. I was flying that day over to Italy. So I didn't get to see the toothless performance, but watching the game, of course, in Palmyra yesterday, I wasn't walking around. It wasn't a negative performance, I would say. I would say it was, we were hopeful to try and get the win, and it's cost us big time. And I'm sure in another game, we'll do the same thing. We'll 1-1, 2-2, whatever the score is, and we go for it, and we go and win it, and we're praising the manager. So, look, I'm not too disheartened. I've seen that we've still got players to come back, and I think some of the players are yet to be fully fit. And when we find our core 11, which I'm sure will be the likes of Tom Campbell, who when they're fully fit, and your Wickard Gage, your Dewsbury, your Callum Britton's in that team. I think we're going to have something quite good going forward. So, look, of course, we've not liked the 2 results. I did predict that we were going to get those 2 losses. I might put that in there. But I'd say, look, there's a lot to look forward to for the rest of the season. We've had a good start to the season. And let's just hope for, a good, once the international break's over, we've got a few players back, that we can push on and hopefully get a few more wins. But that's it. We hope, and we in JDT, nearly said it there.
Get him off, Jack.
I didn't say it.
It's red.
I'm muted him.
Denver, did you predict the last 2 games? Just, how did you see Coventry and Plymouth, mate? You've not mentioned it yet.
I think I was still really upset, even though I predicted it right at the end of those games. But yeah. Oh, dear.
Wow. I appreciate everyone coming by, and again, let's go next week. Big quiz, looking forward to it. I'm going to win.
It's not rigged, right?
I'm not answering the question. It's providing the questions. I'm coming in blind.
Yeah, listen. Just send me your bank details if anybody wants the questions beforehand. It's not a problem, lads. It's
Johnson, did I mention I got the 2 last results right? So
no, not yet, mate. No.
Maybe that'll be a question. Who won between this and this?
I hope you bomb on the quiz. Remember, if you bomb on this quiz, that'll be immense.
There you have it, folks. There you bloody have it. Of course, don't forget to vote for Blackburn Roverseas, Best Club Content Creator Football League, Best Podcast for the Football League. Cut the /vote BRFC. It is 100% free. We need your votes over there to have a bit of glory. But don't forget, guys, to get your votes in for the podcast name. We're going through a bit of identity crisis, and we want to rebrand the podcast. And you can have a say in that as well. So please look in the description. There is links to both the poll where you can vote for that, but there's also a link to go ahead and vote for Best Club Content Creator, Best Podcast for the Football League, Blackburn Rovers. We'll be back next week. And again, big plug, the Big Fat Rovers quiz is coming at you. It's going to be interesting. I'm not sure how we're going to do it, but we're going to do it. And it's going to be live. That's my aim. And you can be part of the show as well. So get involved down below. Hit me up. Until then, guys and girls, we are done.